The cafe is alive with the sound of laughter, the clinking of porcelain mugs, and the hum of casual conversations. It's a busy afternoon, and the air smells of fresh espresso and warm pastries. The world moves in its usual rhythm, with people coming and going, their lives unfolding in front of me, yet I remain unnoticed. Seated at a corner table, I watch them all, walking, talking, lost in their own little worlds. I'm just a silent observer, tucked away in my wheelchair, invisible in a sea of bustling humanity. People brush past me, too wrapped up in their own lives to notice. They don't mean to ignore me, but they do. Some avoid eye contact altogether, perhaps unsure how to interact. Others simply don't seem to notice. I've grown used to it. It's a quiet kind of loneliness, one that wraps itself around you when you're accustomed to being overlooked. I've learned to become a background figure in the crowd, as if I don't even exist. No one asks about me. No one offers a smile, not that I expect it. I've long accepted that this is how it will be, but today, like any other, I watch the world go by, feeling both a part of it, and yet so far apart. It's not that people are intentionally rude, they don't mean to hurt me, but the truth is, most just don't know how to deal with me. I've learned that much over the years. There's an uncomfortable hesitation when someone notices my wheelchair, like they're not sure whether they should say something or ignore it altogether. It's a strange kind of dance people do, as if they're afraid of offending me, afraid of saying the wrong thing, so they do nothing at all. They look at me for a second, then quickly look away, as if by not acknowledging me, they're somehow avoiding an awkward situation. I used to wish I could explain to them that I'm not fragile, not some delicate thing that needs special treatment. But no matter how many times I smile politely, no matter how many times I try to make them feel at ease, the result is always the same. I'm left behind in the margins of their world. It's the silence that gets to me most, the absence of connection. People are often kind, but they don't really see me. And after a while you get used to it. You become a shadow, just another part of the background that people pass by without a second glance. At first I tried to fight. I'd dress up, put on my best smile, hope that someone would see beyond the wheelchair. But the reality is, it's exhausting. There's a quiet pain that builds up over time, not because I want sympathy, but because I just want to be seen, to be heard. Sometimes I catch myself wondering if anyone will ever truly look at me, really look and see someone worth knowing. But I push those thoughts aside, covering them up with the quiet mask I've perfected. A smile that doesn't quite reach my eyes, a laugh that doesn't quite match the ache inside. The door to the cafe swings open with a soft chime, and suddenly the entire room shifts. The quiet hum of conversation falters for a split second, then resumes with a noticeable buzz. It's not just anyone who's walked in, it's Johnny Depp. His presence is unmistakable, magnetic. A few heads turn, and whispers spread like wildfire. The usual hum of the cafe now feels charged with a new kind of energy, one that you can almost feel in the air. The sound of coffee machines steaming and people talking seems to fade into the background as all eyes instinctively follow him. I don't look up. It's not that I don't recognize him. I do, of course. He's everywhere, on billboards, in the news, in movies. But today I'm not interested in his celebrity, not in this moment. My coffee cup sits before me, my fingers tracing the rim absent-mindedly. I don't expect anything to change. I'm used to being invisible, even in the presence of someone like him. Celebrities walk by all the time, and they don't notice me either. But then something unexpected happens. I feel his gaze before I see him. The hairs on the back of my neck prickle, as I sense that something's different. I glance up, and for a brief moment, our eyes meet. There's something there, something in the way he's looking at me. It's not the typical glance someone gives when they notice someone in a wheelchair out of politeness. It's direct, curious, thoughtful. He doesn't look away, and he doesn't walk past like everyone else has done for years. Instead, he does the unthinkable. Johnny Depp, the man everyone seems to admire from afar, steps toward me. Without hesitation, he pulls out the chair beside mine, sits down, and looks at me with a quiet, steady gaze. It's as though the entire room has fallen away, and for a moment, it's just the two of us. My heart skips a beat, and I can't help but wonder, why me? Why did he choose to sit with me? Is this just some fleeting moment of kindness, or is he doing this for some kind of publicity? A staged act for the people who are no doubt watching from across the cafe. I try to ignore the knot forming in my stomach, unsure of what to make of it. The silence between us stretches, heavy with the weight of unspoken thoughts. Johnny settles into the chair across from me, and for a few seconds, neither of us speaks. The air between us is thick with the weight of the situation. I'm still not entirely sure what's happening. I'm no stranger to people staring, but this is different. The noise of the cafe seems to fade as he looks at me, and for the first time in a long while, I feel seen. Really seen. Finally, Johnny breaks the silence. "Hey, I'm Johnny," he says, his voice warm but not overbearing. "Mind if I sit here?" I'm startled by the casualness in his tone, as if this was just an everyday occurrence for him. Of course I know who he is. I've seen his movies. But this isn't about him. This is about the man sitting down in front of me, someone who has chosen, of all people, to spend his time with me. I manage a nervous smile, unsure of how to respond. No, I don't mind. I try to make my voice sound casual, but it's shaky. My fingers fidget with the edge of my coffee cup. My usual defense mechanism. What do you say to someone like him? What could I possibly offer him in return for this kind of attention? He doesn't seem to mind my hesitance. Instead, he seems genuinely interested, leaning forward slightly, his eyes never leaving mine. "So what brings you to this cafe today?" he asks, his tone soft but sincere. It's strange. I find myself speaking more than I intended, telling him about my day, my usual routine, the things that seem mundane to most, but are the little details that make up my life. I talk about my love for books, the small things I find joy in, even the struggles of navigating a world that doesn't always make room for someone like me. I realize, with a start, that I'm not just talking about my wheelchair, but about the things that make me who I am. It's all spilling out, and somehow it feels okay. He listens, really listens, and I can tell he's hanging on to every word, not in a performative way, but like he truly cares. The warmth in his expression is something I haven't felt in years, this feeling that someone cares.
That they're interested.
It's refreshing in a way that makes me forget for a moment that I'm the one usually left behind in conversations like this. Just as the conversation starts to flow more comfortably, a small group of people sitting nearby starts whispering. I can hear snippets of their conversation. Is that really him? Why is he sitting with her? The tone is casual enough, but the words are loud enough to make me self-conscious. I want to shrink back into myself, hide from the eyes that are no doubt on me now. I feel the heat rise in my cheeks as I sense their judgment, whether intentional or not. It's there. Johnny must have noticed the sudden shift in my demeanor because, without missing a beat, he stands up, his voice low but firm. "Hey, would you mind keeping it down?" he says, turning toward the group. "This is a private conversation." The group falls silent, caught off guard by his directness. Johnny doesn't even wait for a response before he sits back down beside me, a small, reassuring smile on his face. The tension in my chest loosens slightly, though I'm still aware of the eyes on us from every corner of the cafe. "Thanks," I whisper, feeling a rush of gratitude that I don't know how to express. He gives me a casual shrug, his smile softening. "No problem. People can be a bit much sometimes, huh?" The way he says it is so genuine, so unbothered, that I can't help but relax. For once I don't feel like the subject of some gawking spectacle. It's just two people, sitting across from each other, having a conversation, free from judgment. As we continue talking, I realize that Johnny's not just here because of some fleeting celebrity impulse. He's here because, for some reason, he saw me, not just the wheelchair, not just the woman in the corner, but me, the person. And that's something I've rarely experienced. I find myself trusting him in a way I haven't trusted anyone in a long time. It's not about who he is, his fame, his status. It's about the way he's treating me, with kindness, with respect, with humanity. For the first time in a long while, I don't feel like I'm being judged. And in that moment, I realize that maybe, just maybe, the world isn't as cold as it seems. Sometimes the simplest acts of kindness can cut through the noise and remind you that there's more to life than just being seen. Sometimes it's about truly being heard. As the conversation continues, there's a moment where the words we exchange begin to feel more real, more vulnerable. I'm no longer just talking about the usual small talk, about books or my daily routine, but about the deeper things. I find myself sharing more than I ever thought I would, feeling a connection growing between us, something that feels raw and unfiltered. Johnny's still listening intently, his eyes locked on mine, his expression soft but filled with genuine curiosity. Then unexpectedly, he shifts the conversation in a direction I didn't see coming. "Can I ask you something?" he says, his voice calm and steady. He looks at me, not with pity, but with a quiet curiosity, like he genuinely wants to understand. What's it like, living with a disability? I mean, really, what's it like for you? How do you see the world? The question takes me by surprise. No one has ever asked me that in such a direct, thoughtful way. People often tiptoe around the subject, awkwardly sidestepping it or glossing over it with a passing remark. It's always been about them. Their discomfort with my wheelchair. Their discomfort with me. But Johnny, in his unassuming way, is asking me to be honest, to open up about something I've never really discussed with anyone. For a moment, I'm speechless. The words are lodged in my throat, as if my own emotions are unsure of how to spill out. But then I realize, I want to share. I want him to understand. It's a constant battle. I begin slowly. Not just physically but mentally, emotionally. It's the small things, you know? The way people avoid eye contact, or the way they talk down to you like you're some kind of fragile thing. It's the loneliness that comes from being invisible to most people. The days when you feel like you're nothing more than a burden to those around you. And then, on top of that, there's the fight to be accepted, to prove that you're just as capable as anyone else, even though the world doesn't always believe that. I pause, taking a deep breath, feeling the weight of my own words. It's not easy to say these things out loud. Not to anyone. I've spent so long holding them in, afraid that sharing them would make me appear weak or vulnerable. But Johnny is sitting there, his gaze steady, waiting patiently, and for some reason, it feels safe to let it out. It's exhausting. I continue, my voice softer now, always having to fight for a place in the world, always having to show that you're more than just your disability. But no matter how much you try, people still look at you and see something different, something less. Johnny stays silent for a moment, absorbing my words. I almost feel embarrassed, like I've said too much. But then he surprises me. I get that, he says quietly, almost under his breath. I really do. I blink, caught off guard. You do. He nods slowly, his eyes distant for a moment, as if he's lost in thought. Then he looks at me again. His expression no longer just that of a curious stranger, but one of someone who understands. I've spent most of my life in the public eye, Johnny continues, his voice a little rougher now, like he's revealing something personal, something not many people know. I've been through my fair share of battles, not physical, but mental. People see what they want to see, not who you really are. They don't see the person behind the persona, the struggles with loneliness, with not knowing who you can trust, and it can feel like everyone wants something from you, but no one actually sees you. It's a different kind of isolation, but it's just as real, just as painful. I'm stunned into silence, not because of his fame, or the things he shared, but because I can feel the weight of his words. It's clear now that we're both more alike than I ever expected. In some ways our lives have been parallel, though different in their own right. He spent his career fighting to be more than the public's perception of him, and I've spent my life doing the same, just in a different context. I think, Johnny continues, his voice softening even more, I think we're all just trying to find real connections, real people who see us, not for what we appear to be, but for who we truly are. We're all just looking for someone to sit with us, without pretending, without judging. His words hit me like a wave, washing away any lingering doubts. In this moment it doesn't matter that he's a famous actor, or that I'm just a woman in a wheelchair. What matters is that we're two people, sitting here speaking honestly. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I've found someone who truly understands. Johnny smiles softly, and there's a quiet understanding between us, an unspoken bond. I'm glad we sat down, he says, his voice filled with a quiet sincerity. I think sometimes we forget that, behind all the noise we're all just human, all of us. I smile back, feeling a warmth spread through me, something I haven't felt in a long time. It's not about him being a celebrity. It's about this moment, this exchange of vulnerability. It's a reminder that everyone, no matter their status, has their own battles, their own struggles. And for once, in this busy world full of distractions, we've both found a moment of genuine human connection. In a place where I've often felt invisible, Johnny's simple act of sitting down with me, of seeing me for who I truly am, has changed everything. And in return I see him, not the actor, not the public figure, but just a man, searching for the same things I am, real connection, understanding. compassion. And that, I realize, is all any of us really need. As the conversation winds down, the cafe's hum slowly starts to return to its usual pace. The whispers from the group that had been watching us have quieted, and the clinking of coffee cups fills the air once again. But for me, it feels like the world has shifted. What started as an unexpected encounter has turned into something far more profound, something I'm not sure I fully understand yet, but I know it's important. Johnny looks at me, and there's a thoughtful pause between us. His eyes seem to be weighing something, considering something deeper than the casual pleasantries of a cafe conversation, and then, without warning, he stands up. For a moment, I think he's getting ready to leave, but instead he steps toward me, his hand outstretched. "Would you like to leave with me?" he asks, his voice calm but filled with an undeniable sincerity. It's not just a polite gesture, not just a fleeting act of kindness. There's something more in the way he asks, something that feels like a genuine offer to break free from the constraints of what people expect, to step outside the box, to challenge the roles that society has placed on us. I'm taken aback. For a moment, I don't know what to say. My heart races in my chest as I process what he's offering me. It's a bold gesture, an invitation to leave the comfort of this cafe, to leave the world of assumptions and invisible boundaries behind. I look around at the patrons, some still watching us, unsure of what's happening. And then, I realize, this isn't about him being a celebrity. It's not about the spectacle. It's about us, two people, making a choice to step outside the ordinary, to connect in a way that's real and raw. I nod, feeling the weight of the moment, and take his hand. The simple act feels like breaking free from 1,000 unspoken rules. Together, we walk toward the door, and for the first time in a long time, I don't feel invisible. The world might be watching, but it doesn't matter. We leave the cafe, not as a famous actor and a woman in a wheelchair, but as two people who have found something worth cherishing, genuine connection, in a world that so often forgets to stop and truly see each other. As the day fades and the memory of the cafe begins to settle into my mind, I realize something profound has happened. It wasn't the fame of Johnny Depp that left an impression on me. It wasn't the idea of sitting next to a celebrity, or being part of some sensational story. What stayed with me was the simplicity of his kindness, the way he saw me, not just as a person in a wheelchair, but as someone worth speaking to, someone worth listening to. It wasn't anything grand. He pulled up a chair, asked me questions, and treated me like I mattered. That was all. And yet, it was more than enough to shift my perspective. For the first time in a long while, I feel seen, really seen. And that feeling of being acknowledged as a person, not just a presence, is something I carry with me now. I've been reminded that human connection is powerful. In a world that often overlooks those who are different, Johnny's unthinkable gesture has reignited a sense of hope in me. Maybe kindness and empathy are still out there, waiting to be found, even in places we least expect. I think about the moments I've missed, the times I've rushed past people without truly seeing them, and I wonder how many other moments of kindness are waiting to be discovered, if we simply take the time to stop, to look, to see one another. Thank you so much for joining us and watching this incredible story unfold. What started as an ordinary day in a busy cafe turned into an unforgettable reminder of the power of kindness and human connection. It's a story about seeing beyond the surface, about breaking free from societal expectations, and about the moments that can change our perspective on the world. If this story touched your heart, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below, and let us know what it meant to you. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like, subscribe for more heartfelt content like this, and don't forget to share it with someone who could use a little reminder of the power of connection. Together, let's spread kindness and make the world a little more connected, one story at a time.